All right, so now let's go into understanding your customer. We're going to first start with a discussion about B2B or B2C and how that affects your operations. We're going to get into your ideal customer profile, or some people call it avatar. And then we're going to talk about the lifetime value of a customer. B2B versus B2C. B2B means business to business. You sell to other businesses. These can be a service business. Maybe you provide accounting, legal, sales and marketing like we do at Relevant Content. Or B2C is direct to consumer. Maybe you're a retail store. Maybe you have an online store where you're selling goods. You're selling direct to the customer. B2B is usually higher ticket sales. These are often $10,000 or more for a lifetime value of a customer. You may have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 contracts. Or maybe you have recurring revenue that's in the hundreds of dollars per month that's going to add up to maybe $10,000 over the course of a lifetime. With bigger ticket items, the sales cycle is longer. Usually there's more people in the decision-making process. It's not just what we call the champion of your product, but it's also the department head and sometimes the CEO, maybe even the CFO. Like, a lot of people have to come together before a decision is made on a larger ticket item. So that means that your sales cycle could be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months or more. And you got to be able to plan for that. And you have to have the runway for that and the patience for that in order to pull that off. B2B decisions are also a little bit more on the logical side. When you're selling, you're always going to be hitting both the logical and the emotional side of your customer. But the B2B decisions are going to weigh more heavily on the logical side. Does this make sense? Is this solving a problem? And does it fit the budget? Whereas B2C, these are faster sales. Think about buying a pack of gum at the grocery checkout. Think about a product that shows up on your Instagram feed and you buy it 10 seconds later. These are quicker decisions. They're based more on emotion, and it's really more about just getting the word out. So whether you're B2B or B2C, combined with your lifetime value of your customer is going to determine your sales and marketing operations. So I'm drawing a quadrant here. On the top, B2B versus B2C. On the left, lifetime value of your customer. Is it over or under $10,000? So if you're in the top left, which is your B2B, and your lifetime value of a customer is over $10,000, you're going to be primarily a sales-oriented organization. If you're on the bottom right, where you're B2C with a lifetime value of a customer under $10,000, you're going to be primarily a marketing-oriented organization. And if you're one of these two quadrants in between, you're going to be a mixture of both. All right, so how do we calculate lifetime value of a customer? It's actually pretty simple. You want to go back at least 3 years, take all the revenue you've ever had, add up all of your customers. And if you don't have 3 years of business, go back as far as you can. If you haven't launched a business yet, you're probably going to have to go off some market research. If you're doing a recurring business, how long do the customers normally stay on with you? Are they buying multiple different kinds of products? Are they buying the same product repeatedly? When you add up all this revenue, what is the total amount of revenue from all your customers? And what you do is you take the total revenue divided by the total number of customers, and that is your rough lifetime value of a customer. All right, write that number down. All right, so now that we've discussed B2B versus B2C, lifetime value of a customer, now let's dig into your ideal customer profile. Some people call this an avatar. Before you launch your sales and marketing, you really want to dive deeply into your ideal customer. You want to imagine who is the ideal person that you're selling to. You want to get down to the nitty-gritty, starting with what is the problem you're solving? What is their pain point? For example, in Relevant Content sales systems, a lot of times the pain point is their sales aren't hitting expectations. So how do we get their sales up? The second question you want to ask is, do they even know that they have that problem? Of course, not hitting sales expectations, they would probably know that. But do they know it's because they're leaking at a certain part of their funnel? Are you selling to someone that maybe it's new technology and they don't even know that they need it yet? If that's the case, your marketing strategy is going to have to involve education of your customer as opposed to just showing them how your product or service is going to solve their problems. If that's the case and they don't know they have the problem yet, you're going to have to do some education in your marketing. You're going to have to create some educational type videos that make you the subject matter authority and teach them about what they don't know that they don't know. If they know they have the problem, it makes marketing a little simpler. You're really just advertising about how you're going to solve their pain points. You want to know what your customer life cycle is in terms of time frame. Again, B2C, it's going to be a faster life cycle. B2B, you might be talking 6, 12, 18 months or more. And you also want to dig into some seemingly unrelated characteristics of your ideal profile. For Relevant Content, for example, if I'm targeting chief marketing officers at certain size firms, Who does my ideal customer look like? What do they like to do in their free time? Do they like to golf? What kind of television programs do they watch? Are they politically active? You want to get really detailed on who your ideal customer is. Because ultimately, the reason people buy from you, in addition to the logical part, obviously your offer has to make sense, but they have to like and trust you. Once you get past the logical hurdle, the way you build like and trust is relating to them in some way. And oftentimes that's in seemingly unrelated topics, like just general life skills or just being able to have a conversation, being authentic, being honest and open, those sorts of things. People buy from people they like and trust. Okay, so to wrap up the section on people, here's the point. You cannot make money in a vacuum. You need other people in order to make money in a business. You need customers, you need team, you need people to believe in your ideas. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're solving people's problems with your business. You're helping people. It's also important to be an active part of society. We need to get out of our silos from time to time, network, get out into society. You know, you're going to learn a lot about people and about their problems, and then you're going to find out how you can better solve those problems. One of my favorite quotes is by Zig Ziglar, and he said, "You can have everything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what they want." And that's really the heart of it, is you're helping other people get what they want, and that in turn will lead to your success.